Okay. Welcome back, everyone, to the AP World History DBQ essay writing modules. This one is about sourcing the documents. We just completed how to use the documents. Now we're going to talk about how to source the documents, specifically using the HIP analysis. Okay. You must source all 7 documents as evidence in support of your thesis. Just like you use the documents, you have to source the documents. And you source the documents by explaining the relevance of HIP, or historical context, intended audience, author's point of view, and their purpose, to demonstrate an understanding of the significance of the source. And this provides a stronger interpretation of the documents. Right? You've got to evaluate the usefulness, the reliability, and the limitations of sources in answering particular historical questions. And each document should have a sourcing statement. So you have a statement where you use the information in the document as evidence, and then you have a statement where you source the document using HIPP as how to develop that sourcing statement. Okay. So some things to consider. Which historical thinking skills or themes and concepts will help us answer the question? What's the question we're responding to, right? What are the skills? Is it causation? Is it comparison? Are we looking at changes and continuities? What's the skill? What's the theme? Is it social, political, intellectual, cultural, economics, right? What are the concepts? What is it asking for? Right? How will that help us answer the question? What is the historical context shaping the issues in the question? Right? Which of the key concepts help us better understand that larger historical context? Right? What's going on around the world? Right? What's going on? How does one thing lead to another? What's the author's point of view? Okay, this is very important. The author's got a background. And their background is likely to affect the way they view an issue and context addressed in the question. Think about it. An American might interpret a scenario far differently than an Asian. A male will interpret a scenario different than a female. A Hindu will interpret a scenario different than a Muslim. A government official will interpret a scenario differently than a slave. A nobleman will interpret a scenario differently than a merchant. So all that's very important. The author's point of view heavily influences or affects what they say and who they say it to. Okay, how might this relationship influence the author's point of view? Does this relationship make the source more or less credible? Right? What's the relationship to the author in the event? That's what we're talking about here. Right? Is there a strong relationship to the author in the event? Did they live through it? Or are they studying about it long after it happens? That's very important, right? And that relationship between the author and the event, how credible does it make that author? Okay, their reliability is important. Who is the intended audience? Right? How did the background affect the author's approach to the issue? Right? The background of the audience. Who are they? Where are they from? Right? That's going to affect how the author speaks or writes to someone. It depends on where they're from and what they believe, right? Remember, I explained how all these different things can affect someone. Culture, political views, religion, social status, gender, occupation. All of that matters. Okay, what did the author hope the audience would think or feel or do in response to the documents? So, in other words, what were the author's intentions for this document? What was he expecting to do to the audience, right? What's their reaction based on what is in the document? And number 7, what's the format or the medium of the document? How is it presented? Is it a poem? Is it a news article? Is it a personal letter? Is it a government document? Is it a non-fictional literature piece? Is it a speech to, the British Parliament? Is it a visual right? Something that's painted or drawn, right? All these are considered when you're sourcing a document, because the possibility of various interpretations and perspectives, really tell you about the credibility of the source. Okay, this concludes the Sourcing the Documents module. I hope this was helpful. Remember, as you go back and look at the format now, you should see, oh, okay, here's one of my answers in my body paragraph. Here's me using a document, and here's the HIP analysis for that same document. And remember, that's what we just did. Okay, if you have any questions, please email me. Please come by. I will help you. Okay? If I need to, I can provide examples. I can explain it in a different way. I'll do what I need to help make you understand how to do this. Okay? This can be one of the most confusing parts, but hey, maybe some of you got it right off the bat. Okay, good luck, and I'll see you guys for the next module.